Welcome everyone to the Hoops Hall of Fame podcast. I'm your host, Matt Lehner, and today I have a few topics I want to talk to you all about. First one is my experience at the courtside exposure camp in Las Vegas this past week, Monday and Tuesday. It was a very good camp. I mean, the talent that was there was pretty legit. The first day we just had practice for 2 hours, and then later that day we had games, and then the next day we had games again. It's basically how the camp went. During the first day we had measurements where they measure your weight, height, wingspan, vertical jump, and then you get back to your practice, and then you have games later that day and then the next day. Talent-wise, like I said, there was a lot of good players there. There was players who played overseas. There were some NBA guys. There was a company from LA that came in and film the games, and then they also do your stats. So like I said, the two big things that you're looking for at a camp are, one, that there's going to be agents, scouts, coaches there that will actually be able to sign you on the spot and or watch you play and then keep track of you. And then B, the next thing that you're looking for from a camp would be to actually get film and stats. So in that sense, it had met those two criteria, so it was a pretty good camp. I played well. I did decent, got some decent plays. Hopefully I'll be getting the game film in the next couple days, and I'll be able to put a mixtape together for y'all. But yeah, it was a good camp. For those of you who are looking to go overseas, it's definitely a camp I would recommend out of the ones I went to. But like I said, with these camps, it's always tough because you basically got to go and show out. You got to play well. You got to show that you know how to play the right way and also dominate at the same time. But definitely a good camp, definitely a good location for a camp. You know, Las Vegas is the home of basketball empire during the summer, so it's a good experience. And another thing I just wanted to mention, when I was there, actually leaving on my flight, a guy by the name of Dre Baldwin was getting in on his flight to go to Freedom Fest, and I actually ran into him, talked to him for a little bit, which is pretty cool for all of y'all who know the basketball landscape on YouTube or on the internet. You probably have seen or heard of Dre Baldwin. Definitely a guy I would check out. Listen to his podcast, the Work on Your Game podcast, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. It's definitely a good podcast. I listen to it every day. Watch his videos on YouTube for you basketball players. But yeah, I just ran into him, talked to him. I got some photos on Facebook if you want to check it out. It's pretty cool. It's probably one of the coolest things that happened over my experience in Vegas. And I guess that leads into the main teaching point of this podcast episode, which is basically to push your comfort zones, to put yourself in a position to make something happen. Now, if you have a vision, if you have a goal, if you have something you want to achieve, you need to put yourself out there. You need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. In this basketball analogy, you play against the best players out there. To see what you need to work on, to see where you're at, and to put yourself in position to be seen by the people who can move your career forward or be able to help you in some way. For a business, that would be getting your services, your merchandise out to the people who can consume it. Consumers, to people that can maybe give you the money that you need. You need to put yourself out there, whether you think you're necessarily ready or not. If this is your serious goal that you have for yourself, you need to put yourself out there and put yourself in a position to actually learn and see what you need to do to improve. Because if you never get out there, you're never going to know. You're never going to know the things you need to work on. You're never going to know where you're at. So you need to put yourself in a position and make yourself uncomfortable, make mistakes, and then learn from those mistakes. In addition to this, you should also be looking to go new places, meet new people, have new experiences, because that will change your perspective on life. You know, whenever you can change your perspective on life and see how things operate in a different way, it'll help give you new knowledge, new energy when you come back to where you normally reside, to actually make improvements on the things you can do to reach your ultimate goal, your vision. You know, for me, going to Vegas, flying by myself, going to out of state by myself, playing against the best competition I've ever played against, and even seeing Dre in the airport and having the guts to go up and talk to him and introduce myself. You know, those are all things that push my comfort zone, but after you do those things, you feel so much better about yourself. You feel like you can do pretty much anything that you set your mind to, and that's the key, because you can. You need to feel that fear. When you feel those fears, when you feel like, I don't know if I want to do that, that's uncomfortable, you need to feel that and then know that that's the thing that you need to do, because no matter what happens, breaking that comfort zone will lead to a new level in life, and you'll be able to do so much more than you ever thought possible. And it's the same thing with meeting new people, or learning new cultures, or just learning things that involve people. You know, you've all heard that it's not what you know, it's who you know. So in that sense, it's very important to get out there and network with different people, but also just go out and meet new friends. You know, hang around people that are different than the people you normally hang around with. I'm not saying you need to become best friends with these people, especially if they don't necessarily do the things that are going to lead to your success. You don't want to necessarily associate with them on a grand scale. But at the same time, learning how, you know, the different people out there, the different things that they like to do, and the interests that they have, that'll all give you a new perspective on life, that when you come back to your things and things you're doing, you'll have more of a grand vision, a bigger idea on how you can reach these people, on how you can get through to them, because everybody thinks differently, groups of people think differently, and when you understand this and when you observe it in real time, it'll allow you, especially if you're a business, on how to reach these people, on the advertising you can do, on just the different messages that you need to send to these people, because everybody thinks differently. So just expanding your comfort zones with meeting new people is very important, and it'll lead to a lot of success in your path that you're taking. Alright guys, thanks for listening today. Thanks for tuning into the Hoops Hall of Fame podcast. And please, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at MattLehner23. I'll be posting, again, updates on all my podcast videos, different things. Follow me on YouTube as well if you have not subscribed. And hope you all like the content I'm putting out for y'all. If you have any suggestions on different topics you'd like me to cover, again, just leave a comment. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're listening to this on, and I will definitely address your topic at some point. Again, this is a daily thing for me, and now that I'm back, I'll be doing this again every day for y'all. So please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to all of you again tomorrow on the Hoops Hall of Fame podcast.